Namaskar, Adab, Salam, Vanakkam and Sat Shri Akal. Hi guys, my name is Jayant and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about Aavas Financiers, which is one of the fastest growing housing finance companies in India. But it is a very small company in the larger scheme of things, and it generally caters to a very niche segment of the audience. It generally provides loans to rural segment, self-employed people, and generally the loans are in the range of, you can say, 10 lakh or less amount. And most of the audiences that it caters to are basically low income group and economically weaker sections. So almost 70% of the loans are basically catering to those particular audiences. And this is a segment where it excels. This is a segment lending to which it has a very strong track record, right? So having said that, let us dive into the company's geographic presence first. So when we look at the geographic presence, as can be seen, consistently northern region has been the mainstay for the company. As the number of branches have grown over time, northern region's share has more or less remained the same, around 47 to 50% or something like that. Meanwhile, when we talk about the western region, that has grown by almost 50% in terms of number of branches over the last 6 years. However, in terms of share, that has come down from 36% to 27%. So, and similarly for the central region, we have seen quite a bit of expansion, but in larger scheme of things, it is still very small. However, we should note that in central, basically there are just two places to talk about. There is Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, right? So pretty impressive that those two account for 58 branches out there. So then there are basically smaller regions like basically southern region, where basically there is a piecemeal presence as of now, right? And there is a very small presence in the east where basically 6 branches exist. So let us try to understand zone by zone. So when we talk about say central region, the presence is basically all about, as we can see out here, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, where MP has seen a massive expansion out here, going from 24 branches 6 years ago to almost 49. So doubling of the branch network. Companies clearly investing big out here. Similarly, when we talk about the eastern region, the presence is basically entirely about one single state, right? That is pretty clear here. Similarly, when we go to the northern region, the presence is basically quite distributed, but it's primarily all about Rajasthan here. It has gone from 72 branches to 102 branches out here. But if you look at it, the share of Rajasthan in the northern region in terms of number of branches has actually come down significantly. Why? There has been significant expansion in states like Haryana, UP. So basically UP had just one branch 6 years ago. It now accounts for 17% of all the branches, that is 27. Similarly, when we talk of Haryana, it accounted for just 3 branches before and now it has 17 branches. So there is a lot of expansion happening out here, right? You can look at these particular areas like there is Delhi as well, though not a massive expansion there. So there is clear expansion in Rajasthan, UP, Haryana and also a bit in Uttarakhand. That is what we get to see in the northern region. Now when we talk of the southern region, the presence is basically limited to Karnataka alone. There is no other presence out here. So in Karnataka, however, the company has been doubling down very rapidly. It basically had no presence in FY21, that is 2 years ago. A year ago, it basically got to 11 branches, then to 24 branches. Massive expansion underway in Karnataka. Clearly, the company is investing big. Meanwhile, when we talk of Western region, the company has been investing significantly, growing patiently when it comes to Maharashtra and Gujarat. And there is a very minute presence in Punjab as well. I don't know, I think I made a mistake by clubbing Punjab out here, but it would go into the northern region. Yeah, but we basically get a brief idea about how the company's geographic presence is all about. It's basically a Rajasthan-based, Rajasthan-founded, Jaipur-headquartered enterprise, Jaipur-headquartered housing finance company, which is gradually expanding across India. Its core dominion is Rajasthan, then basically the western regions of Gujarat and Maharashtra. Then the company is now also investing heavily in UP, Haryana, as well as Karnataka, different regions. Meanwhile, when we talk of northeast or eastern regions, there is next to no presence. It's a piecemeal presence right now. That is what we get to take away. So a small company, basically with a stronghold in particular western and northern region and gradually expanding elsewhere. That is the key takeaway out here. But when it is growing so rapidly, what exactly the numbers say? So in terms of loan book, just look at these numbers. It was just 410 crores of assets under management, that is gross loan book, back in FY14. And over the last 10 years, it has grown to 14,167 crores. It's a beautiful curve out here, right? It's growing so amazingly. and consistently that one has to look at it and say wow. And if you look at the people that it is catering to, as I told you, so almost 65%, 63% of the people that it is catering to in any given year are basically from the EWS or LIG category. EWS is basically what? Economically weaker section or low income group. These are generally people with, less than 50,000 income per month. Generally, those are the people, right? And when we talk about, I'm talking about the whole household income, by the way, not all the people combined in the, individual people in the house, but entire household income is less than 50,000 rupees per month. Generally, that's the rough definition. And when we talk about the average loan sanction to LIG segment, it has been growing pretty consistently, but the company is very clear, we have no interest in going beyond 10 lakh ticket size overall. I'm really sorry. So basically the key takeaway here is that the average loan sanction, it has grown to 9.1 lakh, but it is not going to exceed 10 lakh figure. That is the key observation here. Meanwhile, just look at this figure. The company has not been reporting for the last 2 years what the average lending rate is, but in FY20 and FY21, average lending rate was basically somewhere around 13.5%. Now, why does that matter? So the people that these guys are lending to, these are riskier segments, right? So naturally the interest rate being charged has to reflect that, and that is what is happening here. Because if you go to say HDFC, now it's HDFC Bank, before it was HDFC Limited, or if you say go to Bajaj Housing Finance, those guys do not generally charge you more than 8-9%. That is also pretty high. Meanwhile, look out here, the interest rates are pretty much higher than that, right? So that is something to take note of, that they are growing very rapidly by charging sizable interest rates, because they cater to a segment that is risky, and it is completely affordable housing that they are catering to. That is the key takeaway in this particular slide. But who are these people that it is basically lending to? Majority of the people in this section, who are they, right? So let us try to understand. So these are basically people, you can say that almost it used to be around say 35% of the people used to be salaried. That has grown to almost 40% since COVID happened. However, still the company continues to lend almost 60% to self-employed people, and similarly 40% to salaried people. And the average loan amount remains more or less in the similar range. Salaried people's basically average loan size, average ticket size is basically increasing every year from around 8.4 lakhs to 8.6 lakhs and so on till 9.2 lakhs in the latest year. Meanwhile, when we talk of average loan size for the self-employed people, that has been range bound between 8.2 to 8.8 lakhs, something like that, right? That is something to look out here. So clearly, the company has a bias towards self-employed people. It is lending a lot to those people who have their own businesses, who generate certain cash flows and accordingly run their households, right? Meanwhile, what kind of loans are we talking about? So see, primarily this is a housing finance company. But any housing finance company is generally also primed to make it good in the mortgage-backed loans category. That is loan against property primarily, right? So that is something that the company has been investing big in, and result is clearly here to see that it accounted for almost say 25% or something like that of the total loan book, and it now accounts for 30%, which means in the recent years disbursements for loan against property would have increased significantly out here. Similarly, when we look at the blue line, that is basically home loans total share in the assets under management, that has been coming down consistently from the high of 73.5% to 72% and 70%, and it is a general expectation that this will continue. But when we talk of average loan size, see, the average home loan size went beyond 10 lakh in between, but they have again brought it down. They are very clear, we want to stick to 10 lakh ticket size maximum. That is there. Meanwhile, when we talk of non-home loan ticket size, that is basically generally loan against property, that is rising consistently, but again in the similar range of 6.5 to 7.5 lakhs, and is not intended to go beyond 10 lakh rupees size, because the audience is a risky one. They do not want to take a risky exposure beyond a point. As simple as that. Now, how have the disbursements basically been looking like? Because if the assets under management has grown so beautifully out here, disbursements would also reflect that, right? And you can look at the numbers here, they clearly show the same thing. So we did not have the data for FY14, but look at these numbers. Disbursements have basically grown by 10x, almost 10x in just 9 years. It's pretty fantastic the way this company has grown, right? In fact, in the just last 1 year, FY22, FY23, disbursements grew by whopping 46%. These are not small numbers, guys. Yet, if that is the numbers that we are looking at, then it's pretty impressive. But disbursements are easy, right? Lending is generally a collections game. So you have to ensure that money that you are lending out to people, it should also come back. And for that, we need to look at the NPA figure. But as I've also called out in multiple deep dives before this one, that when a company is aggressively lending, and just look at these numbers, of the total loan book of around 14,000 something crores, 5,025 crore has been lent in FY23 alone, which means NPA figure is naturally going to come down if seen in terms of percentages, as it is usually seen. So we should generally look at the overall NPA figure. So if you look at the overall NPA figure, guys, just look at it. These are very small numbers. Firstly, just 107 crores, 90 crores, 70, 80, 75 crores, something like that, right? Plus, as a proportion, if you look at it, these numbers are growing much faster, disbursements, than NPAs. Those are not growing as fast. And that is a very, very positive sign that, okay, these guys are able to lend to risky segment by ensuring that we are not going to lend beyond a point, that is 10 lakh rupees ticket size. And they are able to lend it at a very high rate, and that ensures high profitability while ensuring low NPAs. This is amazing, and that is what their expertise is all about. Let us look at the lending metrics to understand it better. So this is a housing finance company. It cannot take deposits, unlike say something like HDFC, right? So they raise funds from different kind of sources like banks, National Housing Board, etc. And that amount, on the amount basically raised, they pay an interest rate, right? So the cost of funds has been coming down consistently in line with the global market rates. And as the rates went up in the previous year, these rates also basically went up out here. Yet the growth has not been very much. So it is pretty impressive the way they have managed to maintain it. Just look at the net interest margin. They have more or less maintained the net interest margin over the last 2 years and have in fact increased it from FY21 levels and FY20 levels. It is pretty impressive what they have basically achieved. That net interest margin is so much higher. It is almost 8.28%. And this has been done while ensuring that gross NPA is just 0.92%. Similarly, net NPA is 0.68%. So, very commendable job that is being done out here. The cost of funds are not very high. Interest rates being used to lend to people are very high. And NPAs are still very low. The result is there is a very, very impressive net interest margin out here. And what are the outcomes of it? Just look at the numbers out here for revenue. Revenue figure has basically grown from 494 crores to 1610 crores in last 6 years. It is amazing the way the company has grown out here. It is pretty visible, right? And even when you look at the profit before tax figure, that has grown from 134 to 549 crores. And when you account for everything, all the payments have been made. Profit after tax, look at the figure. It has gone from 93 crores a year to 428 crores in FY23. The result is margin has been maintained. If you look at these numbers, 24.7%, 27.6%, and similarly 26.6%. This is amazing execution by the company. And as it is expanding beyond its core dominions of Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, these kind of regions, it becomes a very aggressive player in the areas that it is entering, because it brings along a lot of experience of catering to this particular segment, risky segment, LIG, not big incomes, and a limited ticket size. So that is what the business is all about. I hope you liked the analysis. I hope you got to learn about a new company today. If you like the analysis, guys, do like video, do share it across, and do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. We share such analysis every now and then, so stay tuned. Thank you.